Hello everyone, Raven Knight here. We are entering the end of Year 7 of For Honor. It's been a long road for me and this game as well as this channel, and I've been asking myself for a long time what I am on this channel. What do I offer the For Honor community? And I don't even quite know. I know my community's a little divided on it. Some say I'm a history-based channel, some say I'm a lore channel, others say I'm a commentary channel, and I don't entirely know myself, but I do remember how it all started. Today, I want to share with you guys kind of where it all began and what I aimed initially to do with this channel and how things have evolved and changed over time. For those of you who are new to the channel, you might find this interesting. So, join me as I take you on a journey as to what For Honor meant to me and what it did for me back in the day. I started playing For Honor on release. I wasn't a beta player, I just got the game when it released. Lark introduced it to me by showing me the trailer for it, and I immediately fell in love with the concept. I love medieval history, and the chance to play as knights, samurai, and Vikings really appealed to me. I got the game right away and started playing. The thing was that I didn't really like multiplayer games. I could play them technically, but I wasn't a competitive person. And since most multiplayer games at the time were usually first-person shooters, and I don't really like first-person shooters all that much, I couldn't get into it. See, I was more in love with the concept and idea than I was the competitive fighting aspect. I played the campaign numerous times, which is how I got an appreciation for Apollyon and her story, and I played every game mode, but mostly against bots because I just wanted to enjoy the game and its characters. I had so much fun making stories and legends about my characters that I found myself adoring the game despite not really playing it for what it was likely meant to be, a multiplayer action fighting game. And it's for that reason I never really saw the issues the game had under the surface. Severe balancing issues in the roster, a lack of progression rewards, and terrible servers. I never saw these things because I stayed away from the online aspect of the game for the most part. When I finally learned about these issues, I didn't really understand the problem. This wasn't because I was stupid, I just didn't play online multiplayer games. I didn't enjoy them or understand the world of competitive fighting games. So therefore, I never understood the negativity that this game got. When Marching Fire came out, I thought this would breathe new life into the game, because I loved the Wu Lin, and I adored Breach Mode. But the community was furious, and it broke my heart. I was so scared this game was going to die. A game I loved so much, I played it almost daily. I decided to try getting into multiplayer a little to taste what it was like, to sort of see if I could understand what people were so upset about. To put it simply, once I entered the multiplayer world, I wasn't good. I realized that spending the whole career of For Honor fighting bots had made me predictable, and I hadn't learned to make reads like the rest of the community, and as such, I was pretty easy to beat despite having a high reputation. But I was blessed to run into players who were willing to teach me, to train me, and soon I was starting to catch up and even secure some wins. But even as I began to better understand the multiplayer world, the game was still struggling to keep its community. I tried desperately to find YouTube videos that talked about the game in a positive light, but every YouTube video I saw was negative, hateful, and pessimistic. And it all reminded me of something my dad would say when I was a kid. Whenever I had a bad attitude or pouted about something or threw a tantrum, my dad would say this: "You can go through your whole life with a bad attitude if you want to. But regardless of if your attitude is justified or not, no one will want to be around you because of it. You will be miserable your whole life and never see things improve, and you will live in a department of one. You can't control what life offers you, but you can control your attitude. So what will it be? Will you offer a positive and upbeat attitude, or will you be a whining and miserable grump?" I took his words to heart, even as a kid, and even now. And I decided that I wanted to bring positivity to this game instead of negativity. If no one else was going to do it, I wanted to do it. But how? How would I go about it? When I was in my Masters of Arts in Teaching program at college, I had to create a YouTube channel to upload a project. I never thought I'd do anything more with it than that, but over time I was inspired by some of the commentary and reaction channels of the day who weren't afraid to speak their minds on topics of a political or gaming nature. Lark and I were both historians, so we thought perhaps we could debunk some videos like the Hilarious Helmet History Guys or Adam Conover. That wasn't a super popular project, so we abandoned it. But when I thought about how I could bring the positivity back to For Honor, I felt the Lord lead me back to the YouTube channel that I'd started. I looked up good video editing software and put down an investment, and it was time to try this YouTube thing. But how do you start? I figured I'd start with talking about the heroes. Talk about what I like about them, what they're based on, how they fight, how good their executions are. It was nothing special. I was just trying to offer my thoughts on the characters. I wasn't going to hate on them. I wasn't going to mock the game or the community or the developers. I just wanted to share my love for these characters. I didn't expect to be popular. I even kind of thought I'd be laughed at for this. But to my surprise, I steadily gained a following. Slowly but surely, fans began to appear, glad to see a positive voice for the game. I heard people talk about how much they liked my take, that they appreciated my historical insight and point of view, and I amassed maybe about 1,000 subs or so by that point. I was pleased, I was surprised, and some of my friends got involved. My friend Hannah stepped in to help design Raven chibis and stuff like that. My buddy Jay designed the Raven Lord emblem. Things were growing pretty well. But then everything changed when I released my 2 Apollyon videos. Who is Apollyon and Apollyon vs. Astria? These 2 videos single-handedly launched my channel into the limelight. Even now, Apollyon vs. Astria has the most views of any video I've released, with over 530,000 views and 19,000 likes. I gained a ludicrous amount of subscribers as a result, and soon I was no longer just some obscure For Honor content creator. I'd gained some attention and traction. But with that attention came negativity. Haters started emerging to, at best, disagree with my takes, and at worst, tell me I was irrelevant. I heard things like, "No one cares about the lore. This game is dead and you're just an Ubisoft simp. You can't even play against real players and you think you can make content on this game?" I got a lot of that, and it was disheartening. So I tried expanding my channel further, with new content and new ideas in an attempt to attract larger waves of audiences. Heroes in History, where I talk about the origins and inspiration for Honor characters. Hero skin analysis and readings. Executions Graded, where I grade the executions of different heroes and try to discuss them from a realistic perspective. I learned how to stream and try to get involved with my community. I even tried expanding beyond For Honor with limited success through Dead by Daylight, Rainbow Six Siege, and my writings and storytelling being on display. My channel had exploded, which was a blessing. I was grateful for it. But there came an increase in pressure. I began to quickly realize that while I'd improved as a content creator, my channel had no identity. I wasn't a top-tier player who could just play the game and show off how top-tier I am, like people like Havoc. I wasn't funny enough or good at editing to make compilation videos like Vita Neon. I wasn't knowledgeable enough on the mechanics of the game to do breakdowns like Freeze. I wasn't experienced enough or charming enough to discuss major aspects of the game and its updates like Marco YOLO, and I wasn't entertaining enough to show clips of myself and build an identity off of my personality like John DeLiner. I offered only 2 things to this game that no one else seemed to: historical knowledge and a mind for storytelling, and that was about it. And even in the history department, I was reminded many times by people who watch my videos that I had a competition in folks like Go-Go Danny, who, while not uploading frequently, was still a very knowledgeable person. Besides, as of now, I can't talk history as much with this game anymore. Upon finishing my Heroes in History series, I can mostly only release new history videos when a new hero is released, so that aspect of my channel has mostly stagnated, so that leaves lore and writing. And here's the thing about me. Everyone assumes I'm a lore channel. I'm not, or rather, not like you would think I am. When I talk about the lore, I often get folks, even people who I'm close to, criticizing me for not knowing more about the lore. For example, in my Legend series, I wrote about the legend of Tian Qilong, my Zhang Jun character. In that story, I said that Tian Qilong had a unique relationship to Emperor Gao Lei, which was not only dark, but intrinsic to his character. Only for a friend to tell me that the Emperor Gao Lei was no longer in power and exiled. I didn't know that. I was also told that the Wu Lin were under Horkos' control. I did not know that. I was told that Sun Da was the cause of the explosion at Chang Pass, which started all that. I didn't know that either. And when I released my Apollyon Thoughts video quite recently, I got criticized by a few folks saying that while the idea was interesting, it was annoying to hear Apollyon get lore wrong in her dialogue. And it was after all that it really started to dawn on me. I don't know the lore as well as I thought. Then what on earth do I offer if I can't talk about the lore? I think the truth is that I enjoy the lore and I read it when it's presented to me. But what I can do with it is offer my perspective and my criticism. I enjoy taking the lore and proposing my own ideas and my own directive. Perhaps I don't understand Horkos as well as others do, but I feel I can offer suggestions on how to write them better, because whether you like them or hate them, the writing for them is pretty awful. I'm a writer, and I wish I could write the lore for this game. I mean, I write my Legend series, I can write short stories and fan-made concepts like For Honor and Glory, and that's what I think I can offer the most of, what I can contribute beyond just history. But the problem is, as many have pointed out, not many people care about the lore of this game. That is unquestionably a holdup for me. If I release a lore video, I want to get the lore right, but quite often I make mistakes, and if I discuss lore that people don't like to hear, I may hear folks say that no one cares about the lore in the first place, which is a little, I don't know, I guess, disheartening. For Honor, in my opinion, is at its best place it's been in a long time. My goal to breathe positivity into the game, I feel, was successful. No, I'm not saying I'm the reason it's improved as a game, not at all. I'm not nearly that egotistical. But what I am saying is that I think the community wanted to see this change. They wanted the game to survive, grow, and improve. The reason my content was so welcomed at the beginning was because it was what people were hungry for. People didn't want the game to die, they wanted to see it flourish, and they wanted to see people be positive about it. And I think the developers wanted to be positive about it. They wanted the same thing, and now we're seeing the fruits of their labors. But now a question remains on my heart, and it is a serious one. Have I done what I set out to do? Have I completed my task? Have I said all I can about For Honor's history, inspirations, and takes? Is all that's left just mere stories to tell? Stories that many people have said they don't care about? If so, is that what people want anyway? Is my voice worth what it used to be when I made Apollyon vs. Astria? Many of you may think I'm being too hard on myself, but these are thoughts I've considered, because I have ambitions to be a novelist, a teacher, and yes, a husband and father one day. Can I do these things and still be what I am now? I'd like to think so. And until the day comes that God opens another door for me, I'll keep offering whatever I can to this channel and to For Honor, but to do that, I need God to show me what the next step is. That's why I've built a second channel for my writing and my Bible stories. If I've done all I can for Honor right now, then perhaps it's time I begin pursuing more things. Again, I'm not giving up on For Honor, and I don't think I ever will until the game officially comes to a close, but I wanted to lay out where this channel is now versus where it was, why I started making For Honor content in the first place, and why some have noticed a change in my style and approach. It's not because I no longer love this game, quite the opposite, I still do. I hope for many more years of making content for this game, and I hope y'all will all be along for that awesome ride. But I also urge you, like me, to keep your eyes on the horizon, because I don't know where God will guide me in this channel next. But wherever I end up, wherever God leads me, I'll never forget where it all started. A fighting game called For Honor. Just a little introspection from the Raven. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. This video was a little heavier than I thought it would be, but I wanted to share all this because as we come to a close in this For Honor year, I hope we get a year 8. I think we will, but regardless of that, I wanted to share with you guys my thoughts on For Honor, where it all started, where I am now, what I'm looking at in terms of the future. I wanted you guys to kind of get a sense of that. Thank you guys for watching. Leave your comments down below with your thoughts, and I will see you in my next video. Take care.